Welcome to War Bioses, the podcast where we delve into the lives of history's most fascinating military leaders, navigating the complexities of their decisions and the nuances of their characters. Today, we set our sights on a hero of the East, a naval genius whose name has become synonymous with bravery and strategic brilliance, Admiral Yi Sun-sin. Born in 1545, during the reign of King Injong of Joseon, Yi Sun-sin would rise to become one of Korea's most revered heroes, his legacy forever etched in the annals of maritime warfare, like a beacon guiding generations through the turbulent waters of history. In the rustic countryside of Gyeongsang, a small village nestled in what is now South Chungcheong Province, Yi Sun-sin was born into a family of modest means. The thatched roofs of traditional Korean homes dotted the landscape, surrounded by lush green fields and the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. His father, Yi Jae, was a member of the Yangban class, the traditional Korean nobility, but one who had not achieved significant wealth or influence. This humble beginning would instill in Yi Sun-sin a strong work ethic and an appreciation for the value of perseverance, traits that would serve him well as he navigated the challenges of his future. As a child, Yi Sun-sin demonstrated a keen intellect and a natural aptitude for learning. He was particularly drawn to the study of Confucian classics, which emphasized the importance of personal morality, righteousness, and loyalty. The teachings of Confucius, with their emphasis on ethics, etiquette, and governance, resonated deeply with him, shaping his worldview and guiding his decisions as a naval commander. These principles would later earn him the respect and admiration of his peers, who saw in him not just a brilliant strategist, but a man of unwavering integrity. Yi Sun-sin's early education took place at home, under the tutelage of his father and private tutors. The soft glow of lanterns illuminated late-night study sessions as he pored over classical texts on warfare, including the works of Sun Tzu. This fascination with the art of war was not merely academic. It reflected a deep-seated desire to serve his country and protect its people from the threats that lurked beyond its borders. The sound of scratching brushes on paper filled the air as he practiced calligraphy, his hand moving deftly over the characters for loyalty and duty, words that would become the mantra of his life. The mid-16th century, when Yi Sun-sin came of age, was a time of great turmoil in East Asia. The Japanese, under the leadership of daimyos like Takeda Shingen, were expanding their territories, posing a significant threat to Korea's security. The rumble of drums and the clash of steel on steel echoed through the region as armies clashed and empires expanded. Meanwhile, the Ming dynasty in China, though still powerful, was beginning to show signs of weakness, creating a power vacuum that would eventually draw Korea into the conflicts of the region. As Yi Sun-sin entered his teenage years, he began to prepare himself for a life of military service. He trained diligently in martial arts and archery, disciplines that required patience, discipline, and strength. The creaking of wooden bows and the hiss of arrows filled the air as he practiced, his focus solely on improving his skills. These physical pursuits were complemented by his ongoing studies of strategy and leadership, laying the groundwork for his future success as a commander. In 1562, at the age of 17, Yi Sun-sin sat for the military examination, a rigorous test designed to identify candidates with the potential to become officers in the Joseon army. The air was thick with tension as he entered the examination hall, his heart pounding in anticipation. His performance was impressive, demonstrating not only a deep understanding of military theory but also a natural talent for leadership. This early success marked the beginning of Yi Sun-sin's ascent through the ranks, setting him on a path that would eventually lead him to become one of Korea's most celebrated heroes. The formative years of Admiral Yi Sun-sin were characterized by a relentless pursuit of knowledge, a strong sense of duty, and an unyielding commitment to his country. As Yi Sun-sin's career advanced, he found himself at the forefront of Korea's naval defense against the Japanese invasions, which began in 1592 under the leadership of Toyotomi Hideyoshi. This period, known as the Imjin War, would prove to be the defining chapter in Yi Sun-sin's life and legacy. The war saw the Japanese launch a massive invasion of Korea, with the aim of using it as a stepping stone for the conquest of China. Yi Sun-sin, then a relatively young naval officer, was tasked with defending Korea's coasts against the superior numbers and firepower of the Japanese fleet. The weight of responsibility hung heavy on Yi Sun-sin's shoulders as he navigated the treacherous waters of the Imjin War. He knew that the fate of his country hung in the balance and that every decision he made would have far-reaching consequences. As he stood on the deck of his flagship, gazing out at the horizon, he felt the familiar stirrings of determination and resolve that had driven him throughout his career. One of the most significant events in Admiral Yi Sun-sin's career was the Battle of Myeongyang, which took place on October 26, 1598. This battle is often cited as one of the greatest naval victories in history, with Yi Sun-sin's fleet of 13 ships defeating a Japanese armada of over 300 vessels. The battle was fought in the narrow strait of Myeongyang, where Yi Sun-sin had deliberately lured the Japanese fleet, using his knowledge of the tides and the geography of the area to his advantage. As the Japanese ships entered the strait, they found themselves trapped and unable to maneuver, allowing Yi Sun-sin's smaller but more agile fleet to attack them from all sides. The sound of crashing waves and splintering wood filled the air as the two fleets clashed in a frenzy of cannon fire and swordplay. Yi Sun-sin's innovative tactics and clever use of terrain were key factors in his success at Myeongyang, and his ships danced through the chaos with precision and purpose. The development of the turtle ship, a revolutionary new design that would become synonymous with Yi Sun-sin's genius, was a crucial factor in the Korean victory. The turtle ship was equipped with a retractable roof covered in iron spikes, which protected the crew from enemy boarding parties and arrows. This design allowed Yi Sun-sin's ships to withstand the intense bombardment of the Japanese fleet, while also enabling them to launch devastating counterattacks. The victory at Myeongyang was a turning point in the Imjin War, as it prevented the Japanese from gaining control of Korea's coastline and ultimately forced them to withdraw their troops. Yi Sun-sin's heroism and strategic genius had saved his country from invasion, earning him widespread acclaim and recognition as one of Korea's greatest heroes. Throughout his career, Yi Sun-sin was known for his unwavering dedication to his country and his unshakable confidence in the face of overwhelming odds. As he once wrote, "I have lived a life of loyalty and duty, and I will die with honor." This sense of purpose and conviction drove him to achieve greatness, even in the darkest moments of the war. Yi Sun-sin's relationships with his contemporaries were also significant, particularly his interactions with King Seonjo of Joseon, who ruled Korea during the Imjin War. Despite facing opposition and skepticism from some of his superiors, Yi Sun-sin enjoyed the trust and support of King Seonjo, who recognized his genius and allowed him to pursue his unorthodox tactics. The impact of Yi Sun-sin's work was felt far beyond the battlefield, as he played a crucial role in shaping Korea's naval traditions and inspiring future generations of military leaders. His emphasis on innovation, adaptability, and courage under fire set a high standard for Korean sailors and soldiers, and his legacy continues to be celebrated in Korea to this day. As the Imjin War drew to a close, Yi Sun-sin's fame and reputation had spread throughout East Asia, earning him recognition as one of the greatest naval commanders in history. His achievements would go on to inspire countless stories, poems, and artworks, cementing his place in Korean folklore and securing his status as a national hero. Despite the many challenges he faced, Yi Sun-sin remained steadfast in his commitment to his country, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire and motivate people around the world. His name became synonymous with bravery, loyalty, and strategic genius, and his exploits continue to be studied by military historians and strategists to this day. In the years following the Imjin War, Yi Sun-sin's legend only grew, as stories of his heroism and cunning were passed down from generation to generation. He became a symbol of Korean resistance against foreign invasion, and his name was invoked as a rallying cry for patriots and nationalists throughout the country. His unwavering dedication to his country, his unshakable confidence in the face of overwhelming odds, and his innovative approach to naval warfare have inspired countless people around the world. As the years passed, Admiral Yi Sun-sin continued to serve his country, albeit in a more advisory capacity, his health slowly succumbing to the relentless toll of battle and time. Though he was no longer able to command ships at sea, his strategic mind and wealth of experience remained invaluable assets to the Korean military. He spent much of his time writing and reflecting on his past campaigns, seeking to distill the lessons he had learned into a coherent philosophy of warfare that would guide future generations. One of his most significant later works was a treatise on naval tactics, in which he outlined his vision for a more mobile and adaptable Korean fleet. This document, though never widely disseminated during his lifetime, would go on to influence generations of Korean naval officers and strategists. As he wrote, "The key to victory lies not in the number of ships or the bravery of one's sailors, but in the ability to adapt and innovate in the face of an ever-changing enemy." These words, penned by a man who had faced down impossible odds and emerged victorious time and again, would become a guiding principle for Korean naval strategy. As Yi Sun-sin sat at his desk, quill in hand, poring over his notes and memories, he was surrounded by the reminders of a lifetime of service. The walls of his study were adorned with maps of the seas he had sailed, the battles he had won, and the enemies he had vanquished. His eyes, though dimmed by age, still sparkled with the fire of 1,000 battles, and his mind remained sharp as a razor, cutting through the complexities of war with ease. Despite his declining health, Yi Sun-sin remained a revered figure in Korean society. The people of Korea looked up to him as a hero, a symbol of resistance against the invading Japanese forces that had sought to conquer their land. As the years went by, Yi Sun-sin's legend only grew. His name became synonymous with bravery, strategic genius, and unwavering patriotism. His image appeared on countless statues, monuments, and works of art throughout Korea, a reminder to future generations of the debt they owed to this great man. And though he may have been frail in body, his spirit remained unbroken, a shining beacon of hope in a time of war and uncertainty. Tragically, Yi Sun-sin's life was cut short in 1598, during the final battle of the Imjin War. While commanding a fleet of ships against a Japanese invasion force, he was struck by a bullet and mortally wounded. As he lay dying, surrounded by his loyal troops, he is said to have uttered his final words, "The war is not yet won. Do not tell my men that I am dead." This selfless concern for the morale of his troops, even in the face of death, speaks volumes about Yi Sun-sin's character and his unwavering commitment to his country. In those final moments, as the life drained from his body, Yi Sun-sin's mind must have been filled with the memories of a lifetime of battle. He would have thought back to the early days of the war, when the Japanese invasion had seemed unstoppable, and the Korean people had been on the brink of defeat. He would have remembered the long nights, spent poring over maps and strategies, seeking a way to turn the tide of the war. And he would have recalled the countless battles, the victories and the defeats, the triumphs and the tragedies. But most of all, he would have thought of his men, the brave sailors and soldiers who had fought alongside him, who had trusted him with their lives, and who had followed him into the very jaws of hell. He would have known that they were the true heroes of the war, that they were the ones who had borne the brunt of the fighting and who had made the ultimate sacrifice. And in his final moments, he would have wanted to spare them the pain of his passing, to give them the strength to carry on, to fight on, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Today, Admiral Yi Sun-sin is remembered as one of Korea's greatest heroes. His legacy extends far beyond the battlefield, inspiring generations of Koreans with his courage, strategic genius, and unwavering dedication to his country. His name has become synonymous with patriotism and military excellence, and his image appears on countless statues, monuments, and works of art throughout Korea. And though he may be gone, his spirit lives on, a reminder to future generations of the power of leadership, sacrifice, and determination. His innovative approach to naval warfare, his emphasis on adaptability and cunning, and his unwavering commitment to his country have inspired countless people around the world. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.